If there wasn't an emergency, would you be ready? What are the things you need on hand to be prepared? Well, we're about to find out. Dr. Paul is joining us this morning to construct an emergency kit. So good morning to you, Dr. Paul.
Good morning.
Such an important thing for us to have an emergency kit on hand, to be ready for whatever throws our way.
Exactly. And we're entering, storms, and we're already in storms, and already 50,000 people still don't have power, right?
Right.
And so it's important to be ready. And a lot of people don't think about these things. And you need the basic things, and you need to be ready for at least 3 days, 72 hours worth of stuff that you can take with you. So there's two reasons. Number one, you may be locked into your home because there's a big flood outside and you can't go out, or you have to quickly leave the home and go to a shelter or something like that. So it's important to have all this equipment that we'll show here, all the stuff that we'll show in a bag that you can then take with you.
You just grab it and go, so you don't have to think twice about what to grab.
Exactly.
Let's talk about what we should put inside the emergency kit.
So the first thing is really water. Enough water for 3 days, and usually it's 2 liters per person per day. So it's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water.
So preferably, you could do it in smaller or bigger, containers. But that's one important thing. So you could have the water, and obviously to survive you need food.
Yes.
And obviously you can't cook, and there's no gas. There's no, presuming that all the services are gone, and so you need to have canned foods, non-perishable foods, and some granola bars, those type of things as well.
Protein bars.
And importantly, you need to have a can opener.
Right, to get into the cans. Smart.
If you don't have the can opener, you can't use the cans.
No good, absolutely.
So that's kind of for the food. And importantly, if you have pets, maybe some extra pet food. And if you have babies, infant formula, for example. Those are the things that we would add to that.
Smart. Okay, let's move on to some other items. We need gadgets.
So gadgets. So a radio with a battery, because you want to hear things. You want to hear. You have to evacuate. You want to go back. You want to. It's very important for communications. And then you need a light. So this is a flashlight. So there's 2 types of flashlight. This flashlight you can sort of turn. It doesn't need batteries. You can just crank it up and it'll work like a flashlight. Yeah, and you can also get radios like that as well. And then just a regular flashlight, obviously. So this is just a regular flashlight. And then obviously the batteries. You need to have extra batteries as well. Now we're in cell phone era right now.
We sure are.
So you need to have a couple of cables, because you might go into your car. You may be able to go into your car, plug it into your car and charge your phone, or you may go to a shelter or wherever there's a mall or whatever, let's say they have power.
Wherever there's facilities available.
Importantly as well is medications.
Yeah.
So if you have any medications, you're taking chronic medications, make sure you have enough for at least a week or 2.
Right.
Again, it depends on your situation. These are antibiotics or puffers and those type of things. And then people don't think about the fact that if there's no power, there's no ATM machines, banks may be closed, so you need to have some cash with you. Other things that you can put in are copies of your birth certificate or your driver's license, those type of things. And
ID.
You can go to getprepared.ca, which is a Canadian website that has a nice video on this. That really gives you checklists of what you can do with your family. So it's important to have that. Check it every year or so to make sure these things don't expire. And the other thing is, don't dip into it.
Right. Right. Don't say, I know I have a can of tuna in that kit.
So when you have that all in a duffel bag, ready to go.
Ready to go. Now let's talk about the first aid kit that should be within the emergency kit as well.
So part of your emergency kit itself should be this stuff here, but also a first aid kit. And a first aid kit is a good idea to have anyway. Have it in the car as well. And the first aid kit itself, as you can see here, has basic, bandages, gauzes, alcohol swabs. What I also recommend as well is putting in some acetaminophen, some Tylenol, those type of things to have
Pain
with
reliever,
you. Also some antibiotic cream, and sometimes some calamine lotion. So for example, you go camping, a lot of people, get into poison ivy, those type of things.
Even mosquitoes are really itchy. I use it on my mosquito bites.
Exactly. So it's quite important. Some people say put some gloves in, surgical gloves or masks, those type of things. But I think the bottom line is be prepared. Be prepared. The beginning of May marks Canada's Emergency Preparedness Week. But I thought it would be important to talk about it earlier because look, you're talking this morning, freezing rain, and we still have a lot of people. And as we get into this climate change and all this inclement weather, it becomes more and more important to have you and your family be safe and have an emergency plan. So know if let's say you have to evacuate, where you can meet. Know that that's where your bag is. This is where your emergency kit is. It's good to go.
One last quick question. Where should people be putting this kit?
Putting it somewhere close to the door.
Close to a door.
To a door entrance, your front entrance. If you have a closet,
easy to grab and go.
So just know, and everybody should know where it is. And be mindful of it, and make sure you check it every year because things might expire.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and helping us be prepared in case of emergency.